My name is Daniel Harris, and for 3 months, I've been married to a woman who's been trying to murder me. She doesn't know that I know. She doesn't realize I've been watching her poison my coffee, documenting every attempt on my life. It started on a Thursday in late September. I'd dragged myself home from Jason Engineering at 9:47 p.m. after a brutal deadline. Melissa met me at the door with unusual warmth, holding a steaming mug. "Coffee? It's almost 10 at night, Mel," I said, exhausted. "Just this once?" she pleaded. "We never talk anymore. That should have been my first warning. We'd become roommates with a marriage certificate, passing in hallways, eating silent dinners. 17 years reduced to polite strangers. The coffee tasted wrong, a lingering bitterness that didn't belong. "Did you change brands?" I asked. "Same as always," she assured me. She watched me drink with an intensity that made me uncomfortable, her green eyes tracking every sip. Halfway through the mug, my stomach churned. Dizziness followed. I blamed exhaustion, but my engineer's brain started cataloging patterns. This became our routine. Every night she'd have coffee waiting. If I refused, she'd get wounded. "I'm trying to reconnect with you," she'd say, voice breaking. "Can't you see I'm trying?" So I drank it. Night after night, feeling progressively worse. Headaches became constant. My hands developed tremors I hid in my pockets. Colleagues asked if I was all right, but it was Melissa's behavior that triggered real alarms. Her hands shook when serving the coffee. She insisted on making it herself, getting angry if I entered the kitchen during preparation. Once I came home early and caught her quickly hiding something in the pantry, face flushed with panic. "You're home early," she'd said, voice too high. "Half day," I explained. "Thought we could do something together." "I haven't made your coffee yet," she responded, as if that was more important than time with her husband. 3 weeks into this new routine, I lay watching her sleep. In darkness, she looked like the woman I'd married, soft features, relaxed, hand tucked under her pillow. But something had changed. The woman beside me had become a stranger wearing my wife's face. The coffee ritual grew more urgent. She'd watch me drink with barely concealed anticipation. When I mentioned feeling tired, her eyes would light up before arranging her face into concern. "Maybe you should update your will," she suggested one evening, rubbing my shoulders. "Just in case something happens." "We're not getting younger." My symptoms worsened. Crushing headaches, trembling hands, constant nausea. Dr. Matthew Reynolds, her physician and our friend, prescribed medication that somehow made everything worse. "Matthew knows what he's doing," Melissa insisted when I questioned the prescriptions. The pattern was too consistent to ignore. Every night coffee. Every night illness. Every morning. Melissa asking how I felt with that strange anticipation in her voice. That night, staring at our bedroom ceiling while my stomach cramped and head pounded, I made a decision. Tomorrow, I'm going to find out what my wife is really doing in our kitchen when she thinks I'm not watching. I called in sick Friday morning. Melissa fussed over me with concern that would have been touching if I hadn't noticed her calculating eyes. "Maybe see Dr. Webb?" she suggested. "These headaches are getting worse." "Maybe," I mumbled, playing up my symptoms. By 8:30, I was at Electronics Emporium buying 4 HD cameras that streamed to my phone. "The sales kid showed me cloud storage setup. Nanny cams?" he asked with a knowing smile. "Something like that," I replied. Back home, I became a spy in my own house. First camera behind Melissa's ceramic rooster on the kitchen cabinet. Perfect angle on the coffee prep area. Second between cookbooks covering the pantry. Third in the living room's fake plant. Fourth in the hallway to track movements. Every placement required careful thought. My hands shook, not from illness but from the magnitude of investigating my wife like a criminal. Part of me hoped I'd find nothing. 3 days of surveillance showed normal life. Melissa cooking, watching Netflix, folding laundry. I watched these mundane moments on my phone during lunch breaks, feeling increasingly foolish. Day 4, Tuesday, changed everything. Motion alert at 4:03 p.m. Melissa shouldn't be home for another hour. I opened the app in the bathroom stall at work. She went straight to the pantry, reached behind the flour canister, and pulled out a small glass vial. My heart rate spiked. She took my favorite mug and began preparing coffee, but this wasn't normal. She measured white powder with a tiny spoon, adding it to the coffee with laboratory precision. She stirred methodically, then lifted the mug in a mock toast. Just a little more each day, and this nightmare will finally be over. I must have made a sound. Someone asked if I was okay. Fine, I managed. Just something I ate, but I wasn't fine. I was watching my wife of 17 years prepare to poison me. She continued talking to the mug. 6 more weeks, maybe 8 if you're stubborn. But you won't be. You're already getting weaker. God, I can't wait to be free. She said this casually, discussing my murder like a grocery list. I stayed in that stall 20 minutes, watching her finish preparation, wash the measuring spoon, hide the vial. She placed my mug by the coffee maker, ready to freshly brew when I arrived. The next 3 days, I watched the same ritual. Always 4:03 p.m., same vial, same measurements. Only her monologue changed. Wednesday, redecorating after I'm gone. Thursday, mentioning someone named Matthew and his patients. Friday, actually laughing while stirring, saying, "If only you knew your precious coffee was killing you." Each night, I pretended to drink that coffee. I'd developed a system. Take it to my office, pour it into the dying ficus tree. When I'd return the empty mug, Melissa would smile with such genuine-looking warmth. My symptoms improved once I stopped drinking poison. Headaches faded. Tremors disappeared. But I maintained the act, even exaggerating decline. I'd stumble, hold my head, mention dizziness. Each time, Melissa's eyes would light up before she'd arrange concern. "You look terrible," she said Friday night, and I could hear the hope in her voice. "Feel terrible," I lied back. "Maybe we should update your will this weekend," she suggested again. Just to be safe. The casualness, the calculation, it was breathtaking. This woman had shared my bed for 17 years. We'd exchanged vows, made love thousands of times. Now she was methodically murdering me. I had proof of what she was doing, but still didn't know why. That answer would come soon enough, and it would be worse than I imagined. Saturday, Melissa went to her weekly book club. I had 2 hours. Wearing latex gloves, I recreated her routine exactly. The vial was behind the flower, labeled SF, in her handwriting. I photographed it, then extracted a sample. She had enough powder for 2 more months. My college roommate, Jin, worked at a pharmaceutical lab. I told him I'd found the powder in my nephew's room, worried about drugs. 3 days later, Tuesday, he called. "Dan, where did you really find this?" His voice was serious. "Why?" I asked. "This isn't a street drug. It's ethylene glycol derivative, modified sophisticatedly, designed to cause gradual renal failure while masquerading as other conditions. Someone with serious chemistry knowledge made this specifically to kill someone slowly," he explained. "How slowly?" I pressed. 3 to 6 months from first ingestion to death," he answered grimly. That evening, I dug deeper into our finances. Credit card statements showed restaurant charges I'd never attended. Always lunch for 2. Hotel charges during her supposed dental conferences. Everything centered around Matthew Reynolds. Dr. Matthew Reynolds. Treating my headaches. Dr. Matthew Reynolds. Prescribing medication that made me worse. Dr. Matthew Reynolds, with access to medical-grade chemicals. I installed a directional microphone Wednesday night. Thursday, I hit the jackpot. Melissa called someone at 4:47 p.m. after preparing my poison. "It's me," she said sweetly. "I just gave him today's dose." The male response was muffled but audible. "He's declining perfectly," she continued. "Just like you said. The new medication you prescribed is working. He actually thanked you for it. Can you believe that? Thanking you for helping kill him?" She laughed. "The sound made me physically ill. 6 more weeks, baby. Maybe 8. Then we can stop pretending," she purred. More muffled response from Matthew. "The insurance will pay out $2 million, she confirmed. Plus the house, his 401k, everything. We can go anywhere. I love you too, Matthew. So much," she finished. "Matthew, my friend, my doctor, my wife's lover, my murderer." I spent the next week documenting everything, recording daily calls, following Melissa's lunch dates, watching through restaurant windows as they held hands, kissed. I photographed them entering the Marriott downtown, emerging 2 hours later with satisfied looks. The hardest evidence came from hacking Melissa's email, password still our anniversary date. Their exchanges went back 18 months. The affair started a full year before the poisoning began in September. They'd been planning my murder for 6 months before the first dose. One email made me vomit. "My darling Melissa, Daniel's latest blood work shows elevated creatinine we expected. I've adjusted his medication to speed things along. The interaction with our special ingredient should cut 2 weeks off our timeline. Can't wait to hold you without sneaking around, to wake up beside you every morning, to give you the life you deserve with his money. All my love, M. Melissa's response, "You're brilliant, baby." Poor Daniel has no idea his best friend is f***ing his wife and his doctor is killing him. Sometimes I almost feel bad. But then I remember how boring he is, droning about engineering projects, never satisfying me. He's more useful to me dead. Can't wait for our new life. XOXO. 17. Years reduced to more useful to me dead. I printed. Everything. Emails, photos, documents, had. The poison tested by 2 more labs. Same results with official letterhead. I had recordings of conspiracy, videos of poisoning, documented medical malpractice. The bedroom camera revealed the worst. Matthew in my bed while I was at work. They discussed my murder while naked. His kidney function is down 40%, Matthew said, trailing fingers along her spine. Another month and he'll need dialysis. We'll skip that. Let nature take its course. Or poison, Melissa laughed in response. Remember when you suggested coffee? Brilliant. He drinks it every night like a good boy. The medication interaction was my stroke of genius, he bragged. They thought they were so clever, but I was about to show them how it's really done. My lawyer, Robert Harper, didn't blink when I laid out evidence across his conference table. This is thoroughly documented, he observed. You've built a better case than most prosecutors. How do we protect my assets? I asked. Over the next 2 weeks, Robert restructured everything. New will leaving everything to my sister. Life insurance beneficiary changed with a clause voiding payment for death by poisoning, a detail that would destroy their plan. Assets transferred to protected trusts. The house put in protective status pending fraud investigation. They'll get nothing, Robert assured me. I expanded surveillance, added cameras to our bedroom, garage, even Melissa's car with GPS tracking. The bedroom camera revealed Matthew had been in my bed multiple times while I was at work, while I was slowly dying from the coffee they'd prepared. I watched once. Not for pain, but to hear them talk. His kidney function is down to 40%, Matthew reported in my bed. Another month, he'll need dialysis. We'll skip that, of course. My brilliant murderous doctor, Melissa cooed, straddling him. When he's gone, I want to f*** you on his grave. I added it to evidence. The psychological toll was immense. Every morning, kiss the killer goodbye. Every evening, accept poisoned coffee gratefully. Every weekend, make small talk with Matthew during his health checks, knowing he was checking how close I was to death. You're looking pale, he'd observe, pressing fingers to my neck. Fatigue increasing? Yeah, Doc, I'd respond weakly. Can barely get out of bed some days. His eyes would light up. We should check kidney function, he'd suggest eagerly. I started leaving breadcrumbs. Computer searches for chronic fatigue and kidney disease symptoms. A journal about declining health dated entries about my symptoms. I wanted them overconfident. Through Robert, I connected with Detective Sarah Mills. Mr. Harris, this is the most complete case I've seen from a civilian, she said, reviewing my evidence. You've done our job. I'm an engineer, I explained. I solve problems. You've certainly solved this one, she agreed. The plan was simple. Officers would be stationed nearby when I confronted Melissa. The house would be wired for official recording. When Matthew arrived, Mills assured me he would. Based on patterns, they'd have conspiracy charges that would stick. We could arrest them now, Mills offered. I need to look her in the eyes when she realizes I know. I insisted. Friday night, she confirmed. We'll be ready. Thursday afternoon, I called Matthew from my office, making my voice weak. Doc, something's wrong. Really wrong. Can you come by tomorrow evening? I asked. What are your symptoms? He inquired, and I could hear his interest. Severe abdominal pain. Dizziness. Dark brown urine. I listed. I could practically hear him salivating. Those were end-stage symptoms. I'll be there at 7, he promised. Perfect. He'd arrived mid-confrontation. I spent Thursday night preparing my performance. What would I say? How would I reveal my knowledge for maximum impact? Friday arrived with sharp clarity. Mills called at 4 p.m. We're in position. 2 units plus surveillance van. House is wired, she reported. Good, I confirmed. Melissa came home at 5:30, glowing with excitement. Tonight might be the night. Her coffee preparation was almost ceremonial, double the usual poison dose. "Here, honey," she said sweetly, bringing the mug with a smile that would fool anyone who hadn't seen her true face on camera. "Extra strong, just how you like it." I took the mug, feeling its familiar weight. My favorite mug turned weapon against me. Instead of drinking, I set it on the coffee table, maintaining eye contact. "We need to talk," I said firmly. My steady, strong voice made her step back. "About what?" she asked nervously. "About the ethylene glycol derivative you've been putting in my coffee for 3 months," I answered. Her face transformed. Confusion, shock, fear, attempted recovery. "Daniel, what are you talking about?" she stammered. "Are you okay?" "Call Matthew?" I suggested coldly. "He's already coming." I told him I was dying. Funny thing, I'm not. Haven't been poisoned in weeks. You've been dosing a ficus tree. After weeks of playing dead man walking, it was time to come back to life. Melissa would learn that her victim had been watching every move, and her perfect murder was about to become her perfect downfall. "You're scaring me," Melissa started. "Stop," I commanded. "I have video, Melissa. Every day, 4:03 p.m., you come home early. Get the vial from behind the flower. Measure poison. Stir it into my coffee while talking about freedom, your new life, waiting for me to die." Her legs gave out. She collapsed onto the couch. "How?" she whispered. "Cameras." "Everywhere," I revealed. "I have everything. Your poisoning ritual. Phone calls with Matthew. You two in our bed, discussing my murder while f***ing. "Daniel, please, I can explain," she begged. "Explain what?" I interrupted. "How you and my doctor conspired to kill me. How he designed poison to look like kidney disease. How he prescribed medication that made it worse. I have lab reports, Melissa. 3 independent labs confirming attempted murder." She started crying, but I'd seen her practice crying in the mirror. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this," she sobbed. I was unhappy. "You never paid attention." "So you decided to kill me?" I asked incredulously. "It wasn't my idea," she claimed desperately. "Matthew said it would be painless, that you'd just fade away." The front door opened. Matthew walked in using the key Melissa had given him. "Melissa, I got Daniel's call. Where is—" he started, then stopped, seeing me standing strong, Melissa crying, the untouched coffee. "Hello, Matthew," I greeted him, showing my phone's recording app. "We were discussing your murder conspiracy. Want to add anything?" His medical training kicked in: assess, analyze, respond. "But there was no treatment for being caught. Daniel, you're obviously having some episode," he tried. "Let me examine—" "The only thing you'll be examining is a jail cell," I cut him off. I played a recording, his voice saying, "The interaction with our special ingredient should cut 2 weeks off our timeline." His face went white. "That's illegally recorded," he protested. "Wisconsin is one-party consent," I informed him. "I was the one party. But let's discuss your medical files documenting my declining health while prescribing medicine that amplified poison effects. The medical board will love that." Sirens approached. Melissa looked between us, then made a desperate play. "It was all him," she accused, pointing at Matthew. "He manipulated me. Said if I didn't help, he'd hurt me. I was scared." Matthew turned instantly. "You lying bitch!" he snarled. "This was your idea. You wanted him dead." "I have recordings of both of you," I interrupted. "Planning together, laughing about my death, discussing how to spend my life insurance. $2 million, wasn't it?" The sirens stopped outside. "About that insurance money," I continued. "I changed the beneficiary, added a poisoning exemption clause. Even if you'd succeeded, you'd have gotten nothing. The house? Protected trust. The 401k? Transferred. You killed me for nothing." Police entered with Detective Mills leading. "Melissa Harris, Matthew Reynolds," she announced. "You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder and attempted murder." As officers cuffed them, Melissa tried once more. "Daniel, please," she pleaded. 17 years. "Doesn't that mean anything?" "It did," I answered. "Until you decided I was worth more dead than alive." Matthew tried to bolt for the back door. An officer tackled him into our kitchen table, the same table where we'd shared dinners, where I'd considered him a friend. "You were my doctor," I said as they hauled him up. "I trusted you with my health. You used that trust to try killing me. You don't understand," he snarled back. "She was wasted on you. An engineer who talked about load-bearing walls. She needed someone who could appreciate, someone who'd kill for her? I finished. Mills handed me an evidence bag. I poured in the coffee, the last dose Melissa would ever prepare. "Mr. Harris, we'll need your statement at the station," Mills said. "Of course," I agreed. As they led them away, I delivered my final words. "You wanted me dead so badly that you forgot I'm an engineer. I solve problems for a living, and you two just became a problem I solved." Melissa turned back, mascara streaming. "I loved you once," she said. "No," I corrected. "You loved what I could provide. There's a difference." The police cars pulled away with my wife and would-be murderer. I stood in my doorway, holding my favorite mug, now evidence, and felt something I hadn't experienced in months. Peace. 6 months later, I signed papers selling the house. The trials had been swift. Melissa's lawyer tried painting her as manipulated, but recordings destroyed that defense. The jury deliberated 2 hours. Guilty, 25 years. Matthew fought harder, hiring expensive lawyers claiming entrapment. But the modified ethylene glycol was too sophisticated. Only someone with advanced chemistry knowledge could have created it. The medical board revoked his license before trial ended. 20 years. During victim impact statements, I'd stood and spoken simply, "Trust is the foundation of marriage and medicine." They violated both. They turned love into weapon, healing into harm. I don't want revenge. I have justice. The divorce was uncontested. Melissa got nothing. No house, no money, no claim to our life together. Everything stayed mine, though everything felt hollow from 17 years with someone who'd seen me as a life insurance policy. Therapy helped. Dr. Renee Kaufman specialized in betrayal trauma. "You survived something that would break most people," she told me. "You didn't just survive. You fought back intelligently, legally." "I wanted to live," I replied simply. Dating seemed impossible initially. How do you trust when the person who promised to love and cherish tried poisoning your coffee? I'd fled when one date suggested coffee after dinner. My sister Emma helped me pack. "I never liked Melissa," she admitted. "She was always performing, playing devoted wife, instead of being one." Matthew wrote from prison, "Daniel, I know you'll never forgive me, but it wasn't personal." Melissa and I fell in love. Love makes people do terrible things. I'm sorry for betraying your trust. I hope you find peace, not personal. Attempting murder wasn't personal. I laughed at the absurdity. Melissa never wrote. Her sister said she'd found religion in prison. I didn't care about her prayers. The new apartment had lake views. Floor-to-ceiling windows for healthy plants. No dying ficus trees. I bought an expensive espresso machine. Every morning I made perfect cappuccino, grinding beans fresh. Ritual, meditation, and reclamation combined. Tonight, exactly 6 months after the arrests, I sat watching sunset paint the lake amber. Coffee steamed in my hands that I'd made from beans I'd selected in my machine. Perfect taste, no bitterness except what the roast intended. Every morning I wake alive, I'm living the life they tried stealing. Every safe cup of coffee is victory. Every night I sleep secure. I know justice isn't just served. It's permanent. The nightmare really is over. And I'm still here to taste freedom, one perfect, untainted cup at a time. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.